Hey everyone, it's Aubrey, recovering perfectionist, queen of distraction, and we are back for another summer garden update. Welcome to the garden / campground. Summer is really just in full swing at our house. There has been so much growth in the last week. We've been able to do a little bit of harvesting, not a ton, but between our strawberries and our peas, we're getting some little snacks in here and there, which is really exciting for the kids. But the thing that I am quite possibly the most excited about is how well our corn is doing. My dad has always said the rule of thumb is knee-high by the 4th of July, and it's above my knees. I was going to be excited if it was at Alec, my toddler's knees, by the 4th of July, but it probably helps a lot when you actually plant your crops when they're supposed to be planted. I think the last couple times we planted corn, it's been like a month after we realistically should have been doing it. The potato barrel drum thing is really filling in. I'm so curious to know what's going on in there. And I don't think I ever really realized that potatoes get blooms. The deer that I talked about in last week's video, she was just out front hanging out in the shade and having snacks of some sort. Thankfully it wasn't anything that I actually planted, so it's not a big deal, but she did get to the raspberries, so I'm hoping that she does leave behind these ones that are actually growing. Thankfully my mom across the street, she has a pretty big raspberry patch in her yard that the boys have really been enjoying the last couple weeks. But obviously it would be nice to not have to bum off of her raspberries. In the greenhouse area, I do think that I might just let my chamomile go to seed so that area fills in next year. I'm not sure. Ooh, it's 101 degrees in here. Let's see. There's still really nothing happening in the jalapeno department. I feel like there has to be something that I'm doing wrong or something that I need to be giving them, but like, it's warm, they're watered, what more do you want? This sriracha plant, on the other hand, or the sriracha pepper I should say, it's not growing sriracha. Look, baby pepper. So I'm very proud of this thing. Also, don't mind the dandelions. Most parts of me feel like the yard just looks disorderly, but every time I think, hey, I should weed eat, I see a bee, and I certainly can't weed eat at that point. That would just be rude. Just look at how good everything's looking. The blueberries are still looking like we're gonna get a pretty decent harvest from those, assuming that nothing gets to them. We did have our 2 potted apple trees that we'll be planting in the fall that were outside of the garden, but again, the deer was getting to them. So now we have 2 apple trees in the garden, which are doing just fine. Our purple peas are starting to give us tons of pods, and we do need to start keeping an eye on them and actually really focusing on harvesting them, because there was one that Jackson got today that was already bitter because we haven't picked it. These edamame plants are getting pretty big, but there's nothing on those yet. My nasturtium did actually have a bloom on there, but we ate it. Let's see, I did notice on this parsley, it looks like this one's starting to bloom, or maybe that is the bloom. I know it's kind of hard to tell. Flowers are just so dainty. One thing I have noticed is, are those aphids all over my kale? This is all the stuff that already went to seed, and I haven't, oh yeah. Oh, look at them, they're just alive. Blech. And they're all down on the other side of that one as well. And on here, I feel like this is a subject that I need to consult my mom on, but those are the 2 kale plants that have already gone to seed and are just wasting away. So part of me feels like I should just leave them and let the bugs do their thing over there instead of attacking the plants that I'm actually wanting to continue to grow. What are your thoughts on my theory? I think it's a good one. That spinach bolted. I really need to just take it out. It's pretty disgusting. Ugh. Ooh. Got the few beets like I mentioned before, and then we're about to have a zinnia bloom. I have heard that if you cut off the first bloom, now I don't know when you're supposed to do it, but apparently the plant just puts energy towards making other flowers, but I don't know if I can do that. Oh, speaking of blooms, look at the zucchini. There's the cabbage. Those are other little squash down there. Let's see, lettuce that's bolted. I'm just gonna let it go to seed. Oh my gosh! I didn't even know they were there. Oh my goodness, we've got tomatoes. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm pretty sure it's aromas that I planted here. Look, tomatoes. I was just thinking last night how it would be so nice to make a pizza from like tomatoes and basil from our garden. I was even thinking I could give a try at making mozzarella cheese. Like, how tasty would that be? Potato bags are still doing good. And the beans are just chugging along, and there does seem to be quite a bit more growth since last week. Like I mentioned, I've really neglected any weed eating and whatnot, but I really am just enjoying all of the things that are popping up in the yard. And the bees love it too, and we just love the bees now, don't we? I don't think that we're gonna actually get any grapes this year. And then this area over here, the snapdragons are really filling in. And look, nasturtiums. But I still haven't covered up these beans that the deer got to. I don't know if she's gotten to them again, but they're still trying to do their thing. Let's see, these zinnias are coming up, and then that birdhouse gourd's really taking off, and it looks like we're about to get some sunflowers soonish. I am just so excited for everything to really take off. I really wasn't expecting the mullein to flower like this, but it's pretty cool. I really was not expecting it to get this tall either. It's crazy. And it looks like, unless that's what Jackson has pulled off with the intent of possibly using it for toilet paper, I wonder if the deer would be eating those. I think that's a question for Google. Well, that's that for now. Thank you for stopping by and joining me for another garden tour. It's so beautiful, and it's really hard to believe that we only have another 2 or 3 months left of really warm weather where things are really going to be flourishing. But I am eager to put a little bit of effort into learning more about fall crops, but then I know by the time that actually rolls around, I'll probably be completely worn out from all of the preserving that comes with the summer harvest, and I might want to just, throw in the towel for the cooler months, but we shall see. As I always say, time will tell. All right, that's all for real. I think I'm gonna go take a nap now. I'm gonna sleep while the baby sleeps. I will see you in the next one. As always, I love you, have fun, and be kind.